Once again, Steph and I recorded in our bedroom because we are really challenged by trying to come up with a time to record that is free from distraction, noise, interruption, all wonderful things that children bring into your lives. So this episode was recorded in the comfort of our bedroom. If you enjoy this episode, you can find more at energyislovepodcast.com. Well, you can definitely find more there, but obviously if you're listening to this on any platform where podcasts are available, which we are available on pretty much all platforms. I'm trying to think if there's one that you can't find the podcast on, but wherever you're listening, please subscribe. Please share the podcast. Go to our Facebook page and like it there. Go follow us on Instagram. And one of the really neat things about the podcast is it just grows progressively, organically over time, and we have listeners all over the world. And the easiest way for that to continue to happen is for you right now listening in your car or in your headphones or while you're doing dishes is to tell somebody about the Energy is Love podcast. We would greatly appreciate it. Today's episode is brought to you by InBody Yoga Academy. InBody is located in Salt Lake City, and it is a great place to start your journey into yoga. If you are a practiced yogi, or maybe you are a new student, brand new, never taken a yoga class, I highly recommend dropping into InBody. It's a great place to learn the fundamentals of yoga, as well as some of the principles of mindfulness. They also have a wide variety of classes designed to take you deeper into the understanding of the therapeutic alignment and biomechanics that exist in yoga. Go to their website, InBodyYogaAcademy.com. You can find their schedule there. You can also find all of their classes as well as some of the events that they host. And if it is your first time at InBody, that first class is going to be free. So go check them out and drop in for a relaxing, mindful yoga class. So on today's episode, Steph and I talk about cycles and the cyclical nature of nature itself, as well as our bodies and our routines and our patterns, all sorts of stuff that has been spinning in my head lately. So hopefully as you listen, you'll have some thoughts that are tweaked or provoked or brought forth that give you some inspiration in your life, or just some shit to think about while you're driving. Towards the end, Steph also shares some clarity that she's had lately in regards to the specific nature of words and the importance of those words if you really break them down and look at the definitions of them, which made a whole bunch of sense to me. That's the first time she shared with me as well. So I am going to be looking into the words that I tell myself that I really want in my life and the things that I want to experience, because I think there's some weight there, some gold, some clarity that is there. So thank you for tuning in for another episode of the Energy is Love podcast with Steph and Craig. Sit back and relax. I'd like to know where you guys listen. Like, majority of the time I listen to podcasts when I'm traveling, when I'm doing yard work. When do you listen? We would love to know that. Maybe you're listening right now while I don't even know. Maybe you're doing your yard work as well. Shoot us a message, energieslovepodcast.com. You can reach out through there or any of the other many, many ways to reach us. And for now, sit back and relax and enjoy. Here we go.
You're listening to the Energy is Love podcast.
Energy is love.
The Energy is the Love podcast.
The Energy is Love podcast.
Energy is love.
The Energy is Love podcast.
The podcast for the universe.
The Energy is Love podcast.
Your yawn was not silent.
Yeah, and this chair is not going to drive me crazy.
Well,
One of these days, by episode 500 of the podcast, we will have a recording studio.
That's awesome. Are you still going to do the 10 seconds of silence?
When we have a recording studio?
Mm-hmm.
No.
No.
Because by that point, we'll be like, recording live or something like that.
So how are you going to get me to be quiet in the middle of a conversation that you don't like?
What are you talking about?
Because right there, you're like, okay, we're going to do 10 seconds of silence right in the middle of a sentence. Because I go,
what were you saying?
I don't remember now because you cut me off. And I was thinking, oh, I know what that is.
Massively important, I'm sure. That's why you can't remember.
No, it was massa. Oh, I was giving you shit about the blanket. But, yeah, so, see, we can't do 10 seconds of silence again. We already did it. It's just funny. We'll wait for you to finish that yawn.
Well, that was a big one.
Give me a little one. You sure you want to do it like this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's much better.
All right, mister.
I just hate when I can not smell. I hate when I can hear my nose. My nose. I hate when I can hear my nose.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got a little bit of allergies this morning.
Do you want me to go get you 2 tissues?
Was that, you wanted the whole box of tissues?
No, I wanted to be able to use 2 and then have to
only
go
somebody
through it and then get up.
If only somebody had said, why don't you bring me the whole box? Instead of looking at 2 and being like, yeah, that's fine.
Well, you made such an effort for the 2. I feel like a whole box might,
You said, can you get me some tissues? Actually, I said, can I get you some tissues? And you said, yes. Hence 2 tissues.
How much water do we have over here?
I didn't say, can I get you a tissue?
How much water do we have over here?
I said tissues.
How much water do we have over here?
If you wanted more than 2.
How much water do we have? We have a whole pot of coffee. We got coffee and it's understood. It's the whole pot.
It's on my side.
Shit.
I have a whole pot of coffee.
I love my 2 tissues. They're so pretty. And look at the perfect little pair. Okay. I'm not even going to use them. I'm just going to look at them and admire them and be grateful that my
it's good because it's the last 2 tissues you're
coffee-holding husband gave me the 2 tissues. Like, seriously, are you going to hold the coffee?
No.
How are you going to get it to me?
I'm going to throw it at you.
I won't catch it. You're going to knock me out. Okay, just have the podcast by yourself now.
See, doesn't this work just a little bit better?
For me.
Because we can look at each other. So we're in bed again.
Well, you're not.
I'm kind of in bed. My feet are on the bed. But we redesigned the setup for the bedroom. Put the microphones in more conveniently located places. So
yeah. So I'm comfortable.
I'm so excited to get outside and record.
Yeah.
One of these days.
It wasn't going to work this morning.
No, it's too chilly. I think we'd get in there, or we'd get out there, and like 5 minutes later, it would just be too cold. But
yeah,
we have somehow managed to move to Seattle, Washington, without actually moving to Seattle, Washington, because it's like literally for what the past 4 years, every day it's rained. It seems like.
Past 4 years. Yeah, it's been very rainy. It's very pretty. Everything's really, really green.
Yeah, but it's like literally every day.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no joke, every day. Every day there's rain.
Is it every day I'm shuffling?
No.
Every day I'm shuffling.
Yeah, but it sucks because I want to go outside and record.
It does suck, but I like the rain.
I do too.
I really like the rain.
I've realized that it's starting to affect me.
Oh, like you explain.
Because I want the sun.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, like I'm excited for the sun.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't had we do have the sun, obviously. We're conveniently located on a part of the planet where the sun still rotates.
We haven't had some bright, sunshiny days.
Yeah, I want to go outside and feel the sun on my skin, and and it's just been too overcast and rainy and chilly, and
it comes out in moments, but then it goes and hides.
It's out right now.
Mm-hmm.
For a minute.
I got a little bit of it yesterday. It was nice. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. We just woke up. It's okay.
Okay. Yeah, I think I've been. That's like how you're like, it's starting to affect me. I think I've been affected hard from not having a lot of sun. I don't know, winter, all of that. I like the sun.
Yeah.
I like being outside.
Do you think you have seasonal affective disorder?
Nope.
Why? You said it with such confidence.
Yeah, I say I like the sun, and you're like, you're mentally unwell, but are we going to go back to what do you suffer from for mental illness?
I have that.
I got comfortable with it, and then you took it. So now, like, you have to ease me into that. Just ask me questions. You have it. Shut up.
No, I was thinking about this recently in the cycles that the planet goes through.
Mm-hmm. The planet's sad, so I am.
No, like the literal cycles, not just the seasons, but like there's so many examples of the cycles that everything goes through. So we have the 4 seasons that are very easy to, grasp and hold on to and recognize because we go from winter to spring to summer to fall.
We're lucky to get all 4 seasons.
Yes.
There are places that I've never been, but they say they don't get all 4 seasons. Is
yeah,
that,
there's plenty.
Like where? What's a place that doesn't get 4 seasons?
Well, there's lots of places that don't get winter.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the fall would be like very, very mild.
But it still has their version of it, right?
Yeah, I think they get mild shifts.
See, it still has
temperature
their,
and
it's
things
just
like that.
the extremes that we see. I think that makes sense. Is that it's still their version of it, just not the extremes that we have.
Yeah, like even the far north, like up in Antarctica's not north, Antarctica is south, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Antarctica's the South Pole.
I think so. Yeah,
And North Pole is it's just north of the wall.
North of the wall.
Yeah,
that's what I heard when you said north the first time.
But they still experience summer, like they get the melt.
Their version of it, yeah.
Yeah.
See,
even though it's still chilly. Anyways, so outside of just the cyclical cycle of the planet's seasons, what other cycles are you aware of when it comes to the planet as a whole or the universe?
Rotation. I think we go around the sun. That's a cyclical,
Yes.
oblongy cycle.
Okay.
God, I don't know. That's a really good question. I think there's menstruation. Like moody. You have in what we call them retrograde.
Okay.
That was funny. Laugh at my jokes, goddammit. Why do I have to remind you all the time?
I was trying to think of
was
what,
so funny.
what
That was
the equivalent of the universe's menstruation is.
Retrograde. Moody.
But
That was
retrograde
funny.
is...
Oh my God. No, don't get up.
Okay. I'm listening.
I don't have anything else to say. I'm witty and you can't get my wit.
What about like the lunar cycle?
Mm-hmm.
Because do we go around the moon or does the moon go around us?
Moon goes around us.
What is it?
I said the moon goes around us, but
I don't know either.
I said the moon goes around us.
I thought you said that. I thought you said it in a way that you're like, I don't know.
No, in a way that I don't know what your response is going to be.
Does the moon go around us?
I thought it did, but it doesn't mean I'm right. But yeah, the moon orbits us, I thought. Pretty sure.
I don't know. I'm assuming it does because
the moon orbits us and we orbit the sun. So
yeah, and we all
the moon orbits the earth while the earth orbits the sun. Was my understanding.
The whole point that I'm getting to, because I was thinking about this the other day.
Okay.
Other than trying to make you feel silly, which I wasn't trying to do, but just
You nailed it.
Killed it. We all have these cycles. I'm trying to become more aware of what my cycles are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because it's really easy for me to recognize the ones that kind of coordinate and line up with the seasons and things like that. But like, what does my cycle for the summer look like rather than just, I don't know.
These are not safe questions for me, that's for sure. Like, I'm just sitting over here going to let you figure that out.
No, because I've been in a massive shitty funk for like 2 weeks. You're like, 2 weeks?
That's exactly what I was not thinking. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Like I said, this isn't a safe call. Yeah. I keep going what you're feeling about yourself. I'm just making sure my ringer's off.
And then I thought about like that whole concept and idea that you have like what is it? Like every 7 years, your cells completely have been regenerated or something like that.
Is that why it's like the 7-year itch? Oh, people like break up in 7 years?
I don't know. I don't know if that's correct
like,
or not.
Not only am I not the same person I was, you're not the same person you were, or worse, you're the exact same person that you were.
But what about the cycles of our life, right? So like every I'm trying to.
We're cycles. We're cycloning. This is the cyclone episode.
No. Twister. Starring Bill Paxton.
Keep going. This is good.
I'm just trying to think of what rhythm or cycle I'm in right now, because everything feels so out of rhythm. And so like there isn't a cycle or a routine or a rhythm right now. It just feels like shitballs chaos of pain and suffering.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to look for answers.
Is that a cycle itself that you go into?
Of shitball chaos?
It was a question. 4
Yeah.
minutes a question.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know. Okay.
Podcasts work when we both talk?
Well, you are saying you're talking about the cycle that you're in right now, this moment that things have been funky, and it hasn't been that safe to talk for
From
me.
this moment.
So you're like all fine now, but I don't really know how. I don't feel comfortable getting into this conversation because it shifts really fast. So I'm nervous.
Are you calling me a shapeshifter?
I'm calling you a mood shifter.
A shifter of moods?
A shifter of like, release the Kraken. I don't know. Like,
no, I realized whether it
self-awareness
was
is all
last
you
night or it wasn't last night. Last night was Schitt's Creek and passing out. The television show Schitt's Creek.
No, I think you should have just left it. The people that know the show would have got it, and the other ones would have been like, what the fuck are they? What?
No, we're just up Schitt's Creek without a paddle.
Well, I was
And
thinking
we
more
passed out.
creativity than that.
So like 2 nights ago or whatever, like I've recognized in a new way, in a new level of how much I mask my deep emotions behind pain, not behind pain, behind anger. Like how I was telling you how it's like, I don't want you to see me, so I'm just going to be a big, angry, scary monster so that you leave me alone and you won't really see me.
Yeah.
Right. In some way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that that's what I was doing. And I realized that that's what I had been doing for the past little bit. And then I'm like, why are you doing that, Craig? Why do you do that? What's the root of that? What are you really afraid to feel or show or whatever the case may be? And then that monster gets really angry at me. And it's like, shut up. And then I just give up. But I'm trying to think about the cycles because this feels very like I've done this before. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't feel like I've done this in a very long time. So I'm trying to think of like why I'm doing this, or what cycle is now, coming into play again. What spot in this rotation am I? Like we're in I don't know.
You told me like recently when I was having a like what is happening thing is that when old patterns, I think is the word used, old patterns are in the middle of shifting, you're in transition and old patterns are breaking, that they resurface. So maybe it was, I don't know, maybe this is your, like, because I recognize this cycle very well. Like it is, holy shit. And maybe it's popping up to see, okay, what are you going to do? Are we breaking it or are we not? Does it hook, like, and sinker? Hook, line, and sinker? We got them, boys! Or, does it flow or whatever? I don't know. I'm going to drink my coffee, though. I'm going to sit over here and drink my coffee.
Well, we can't. You're such a dork. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it is an old pattern.
It's just the thought.
Or routine, something like that's coming back.
It's definitely familiar.
Yeah, right? But it seems like it's been a really long time.
It has been a long time for this.
Yeah. And I don't know why, other than just like, I mean, so incredibly stressed lately.
Mm-hmm.
Just so incredibly overstressed to the point of like, oh, madness of stress that isn't dissipating, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that's just a small little factor of it, right?
Yeah,
Where-
that can be a factor. Just a little bit. Like I keep getting kicked in the balls, but I cannot figure out why my balls are tender and hurt. Like maybe,
yeah.
at least you laughed at that joke.
I laugh at all your jokes.
No, you don't.
Just not out loud.
I mean,
So many of them I laugh inside my head. My inner...
yeah, and it's not like, oh my God, she's so funny. It's like, she's so dumb. I can't believe she thinks that's funny. Or what is she saying?
No, I think you're hilarious.
Remember, I'm cycling, so you should laugh at all my jokes when I'm cycling. That's the safe thing for you.
How much awareness do you have of your cycles and your patterns and your rhythms throughout your life?
I haven't gone through most of my life. I didn't recognize that there were cycles. I was just, I don't know, like autopilot survival mode, go, go, go. So honestly, cycles and patterns are something that has only been something that I've been aware of myself for, I guess, I don't know, like life in my 30s, I guess. So, I mean, I've been like, there's so much of it that has been figuring out what's going on around me that there was really no time to figure out what was going on inside me because everything else was very loud, very over. So I don't have, I'm kind of ashamed to say, I don't have a lot of practice with that. So I'm like a 10-year-old when it comes to recognizing the cycles in my body. But, I'm having awareness of it and I can see it come through. It's been the more awareness I have of it. I'm not foolish enough to believe that I've got it down by any means, but I'm like, oh, they're loud. I can see them. But when they're like, there's these vibrations that I get into, these cycles, and I can tell when like it's really like I'm aware of where I'm at when it's those good ones. And then there's those funky ones that sometimes take me a minute. I found tissues. See, I don't need yours.
You hiding tissues in the bed?
I put some under the pillow just in case, and then I forgot about them. It's because anyways. So sometimes they're harder to see when you're going through crap, that you're in that cycle and that flow, because it just feels like everything gets, and then sometimes it takes a jolt to knock you out of a cycle of, oh, look at, I'm garbage. Everything I'm doing is wrong. I'm pissing everyone off. I'm making everyone miserable. Why can't every time I talk, I'm getting, and then, you have a good jolt and you realize like, oh, this isn't my cycle. So right now I'm in a...
What would you say you're in if you're going to compare it to the 4 seasons?
To the 4... I'm definitely in a spring. I'm totally in line with that. I'm definitely in a renewal, like old shit's kind of like coming out and trying to find out where it's going to grow and wanting to plant new things. I'm totally in a spring session right now.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I don't want to be as simple as that. It's winter. I'm sad. It's spring, rebirth, summer. I'm joy, fall. I'm comfort and settling in.
I don't think it's simple, but at the same time, I don't think it needs to be
extravagant than that.
I think that oftentimes myself leading the way try to make things way too complicated or over analyze way too much when really it could just be really simple of like, maybe there's not a whole bunch of cycles. Maybe it's just very similar to what the planet goes through on a yearly basis as it travels around the sun. because we travel around the sun right along with the planet. So it would make sense that in some way, shape, or form, we are susceptible to that traveling.
Yeah. But that, like...
Do you know, I'm fairly certain that as the planet travels around the sun, not necessarily our universe, maybe our universe, but our like group of planets, our galaxy is also moving throughout space and time, right?
No, I think they hold still while the Earth just does its thing.
So, jerk store, do you know if that has an orbit throughout the universe, or is it? Because in my mind, I think of it as just like this big spaceship. Our galaxy is just this big spaceship of dust that is just traveling out into the universe, that it's not necessarily like on a course for CS9 or whatever. That it doesn't have a trackable orbit like we do around the sun. I think it just is out there floating, and I could be completely wrong. Do you know?
I don't know. I know that I used to believe that like our galaxy was like steadfast held in the universe.
Just stationary.
Like it was, well, if you want to use one word, but I think steadfast held is fine. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I thought it was like stationary. Thought it just held where it was. It held position. That was its home. It was like, you have your house and then people move around in the house. I thought it was like
a
the house.
Space station.
It just, it stayed right there. And I believed in other galaxies that also stayed right there. Like that was their spot. That's where they stuck in the universe, which is just not empty, but yeah, it's like this big space. So I think I talked on one of the recent ones about my mind-blowing, like, oh my God, multiverse. Did I?
Yeah.
Was that you and I?
No, that was the other podcast that you are on with your...
You just poured some coffee that I'm on with my what?
I'm teasing. Continue, multiverse.
No, I want coffee.
I'm going to throw it to you.
Oh my God. Things are going to like go down. I'm going to lose a tooth. Think I can catch, especially
No, I'm just going to toss it up on the bed next to you.
Oh, okay.
Actually, keep talking. I'll come pour your coffee.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Real quick.
Oh my gosh, I feel like such a jerk now. That's right, pour my coffee. This is a cycle we're in. But no, I don't, it doesn't make sense. There's no reason, like I can't see, no, multiverse totally makes sense. I can't see how it would not be moving. How does it, it couldn't, so it has to move. I don't know if it's a cycle, if it's a rotation, if it's a drifting, if it's a magnetic pole, what's the source? Like, where does it go? Like, how do galaxies not bump into each other? Or maybe they do. Maybe it's like this big pinball machine, but because our concept of time is so like skewed with it that for us, what we have in this like super flash, we don't see. But I don't know. Maybe that's fascinating. But I think there's so much, and galaxies or universes are expanding, and there's multiple, and so I don't know. But I go in rabbit holes when we talk about that stuff.
Yeah, because I was thinking about the seasons, right?
Thank you for my coffee.
You're welcome. I was thinking about the seasons as we travel around the sun, and how it's sometimes very easy to coordinate those with our bodies and with our life, and kind of recognize how we can fall in line with those rhythms.
Yeah, but that makes sense.
Right? But then I started to think about, is our planet not our planet, but our universe, our galaxy, is that in a rhythm and a cycle as well? I'm sure it is. It makes sense that it would be. But it would be so instead of like a 7-year rotation or a 7-year cycle, our planet would be like on a 7 million cycle or something like that, because the universe is so big.
The dark ages.
So the universe, as it's traveling right around space and time, that it is following a orbit, quote unquote. Quote unquote. That's this technical scientific term for
Oh my God.
but if that's the case, then that may explain some fluctuations in our experience, right? Because let's say, for example, the planet or the universe, the galaxy. Let's say, for example, the galaxy is just on this big circular orbit, and it's not. It's not going to be just on a very generic one-dimensional circle. But let's say that it is. And that circle or that circular orbit that the galaxy is on takes 1 million years. And every step along the way, as it passes through this part of the universe and it passes through that part of the universe and all these kind of different things, you're going to be susceptible to that rhythm and that cycle and that energy that exists along that orbit. And so that perhaps could explain some fluctuations, like the planet itself. If we could talk to Mother Earth, she would say, yeah, dumbass, this is the 77,000 year cycle of blah, 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 because we're passing through Kuiper Belt 123 out in the middle of universe quadrant sector 9, whatever. Right.
Is this because I saw you had Battlestar Galactic pulled up on the TV the other day that you still won't watch with me?
No. Jerk store. So it made me think, because, but this is the same thing that I was getting at earlier, where I think I'm thinking too much, where I'm putting way too much time into trying to figure out why I'm a madman in the last few weeks.
I think that's pretty harsh. I mean,
it's pretty Mad Max Fury Road.
It's been a little intense, but I just don't think that label is hopeful.
Like, you know, what's his name? Tom Hardy's character in Mad Max.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't remember Tom Hardy in Mad Max. I have to fix this. I'm sorry.
You're okay.
Is that better?
You literally moved it right back to the same spot. But
You're
if that
welcome.
feels good, if that feels good, baby, just move that.
I like it right there. I like to wiggle it around and put it right back. Tom Hardy, you were saying.
You remember, of course you remember him in Mad Max, right?
I'm trying to, oh my God. No. I know now. He's Mel Gibson.
Yeah, he's the main
I was just thinking
character.
Mel Gibson because I went back to like Mad Max. Like, I don't know how. We've got the Charlize Theron edition, the new one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but no,
Oh my
that's
God,
why
I'm
I
a
say,
dork.
that's why I
Yes,
say
I remember him.
Madman, because I'm down for hopping in my souped up whatever piece of shit car and just heading out. Like, I get mad.
You're going. I think I'm more excited for your Yellowstone trip than you are.
No.
I might be. You don't know.
I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of feeling like I don't have my shit together. I'm tired of feeling like I don't have control over my simple emotions. I'm tired of feeling lost in the chaos of whatever the case may be, right?
Yeah.
Especially given like how much work we've done. That's the part that's very frustrating.
Yeah, it is.
Where it feels like, damn it, I've done so much work and yet still feeling like shit.
Yeah.
And then a big part of it too is my gut and my overall gut health. I really, really, really think that that's just massive.
I do too.
Where we just have so much, like we're just completely, at the whim of whatever our gut says. All that microbiome shit in there and all those organisms and all the second brain or what. I don't think that's the second brain. I think that's probably the operating system.
It's the operating system. But there's actually they believe to have, not that this goes with that, but your body has like 3 brains is what they're saying now.
That sounds...
Not like actual brains, but like you have your brain.
Yes.
And then you have your gut brain.
Yes.
But like this is another tangent we'll get into later. Keep going.
No. What's the third?
Your heart brain.
Heart brain?
Your heart brain. It's okay. I'll sit there and let it blow your mind. But we're not talking about that right now. I'll happily tangent on that.
We are talking about that right now. You just brought it up.
No, we're talking about your gut brain.
No. It seems like a natural progression of the conversation, so you're fine.
Yeah, but it ends that. So not yet. We'll get to it.
Maybe I don't have anything else to add about like I said, I just think that it's way more of a factor than I have ever really felt that it was before.
Yeah.
So tell me about this heartbrain of mine.
Heartbrain of I don't know anything about your heartbrain.
Tell me about your heartbrain.
My heartbrain has is hiding right now.
Okay, silly girl, explain the concept.
Well, honestly, it's just barely something that it's something that's been around, I guess, because the Heart Math Institute has been like, this is, I guess, old news for them. But for me, it is not old news. So I'm like, well, that's brand new information. That's pretty cool. But I don't have enough to really go on tangents about it yet. But I look forward to in the future. Some of the things that they were looking at is that your heart has more like neurotransmitters than your brain. That if you look back, they had it under the assumption at the beginning that your brain controlled your entire body, that your brain sent the signals out, which told your body what to do with the through the autonomic system, through choice, everything came through your brain. And then when they started looking and seeing the way that the signals coming from your gut that were sent to the brain, feeding the brain, were also in a way telling the brain, like, this is what you need to send out. So having that, but then the heart, when they, like, if I'm butchering this, I'm sorry. Like I said, new information. So
Baby, we butcher so much on this podcast.
Not me. No, I'm usually pretty spot on. The heart actually sends more signals, more information to the brain than the brain sends to the heart and throughout the body. The heart is the one that is constantly communicating more than the brain. So I know, right? You want to go on that rabbit hole. I'm looking forward to learning more about that. That's
what
pretty
if our brain is
fascinating.
really the last stop?
It might be.
Yeah. If it's like the afterthought.
That explains a lot of drivers and teenagers when they're still alive and functioning, but you're like, what is happening? They're just like ping-ponging their way through.
Yeah, but
Just
it's
kidding.
so counter to, like, we want to think that our brain is this big, powerful, massive thing that does so many
is.
things. And
It's
it's
all
like controlling the ship. But what if it's like from the ground up instead of from the top down?
It's back. It's like, what kind of fuel? What kind of fuel are you putting in your ship? What kind of crew do you have on your ship? Is how your ship operates. So
I got a bunch of, like, what's the, in The Incredibles when the baby turns into the red monster? Yeah, I got a bunch of those in my body right now that are just running around being like, smash, tear, fire, rip apart, burn from the inside out.
from the inside out. Yeah. What?
You're like, don't let the monster out.
No, I'm not. I just, like I said, I don't know. I love you. I don't know what to do. This is. So I'm excited to learn more about the heart brain because I think I don't know. I'm a dork. I am feeling very heart oriented right now. Not really paying attention to a lot of other things in my body and in my space. I'm trying to figure out like everything is fueled for a cause is how I go. Brain got to think like this, got to work like this. If I could just think these ways, I have to open up these channels. If I could just think like this, and I've been trying to think in my body, if I could just put this in my body, if I didn't put this in my body, I'd be happy. If I could just fix my body with this, and everything is so goal oriented that I just kind of I'm trying to get out of the way of if I did this, then I could fix this, and just like jump in and figure out what like what my heart wants when it's not shushed. And I have even less practice of listening to my heart than I do finding out the cycles of my body. So I'm really trying to, like, hello. I mean, she comes out every once in a while and she's loud and she's fiery and she's passionate, but to like really know, like to be led by to know what my heart really wants to feel.
Do you have any practices right now for tuning in and listening to your heart?
Yes.
What do those look like?
Home.
What do those look like?
It started with awareness, and I went out for the sun. You know how I like the sunrise. I haven't done that in a really long time, but I did it yesterday, and it was nice.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do it today. Somebody wanted to record a podcast. I'm just kidding. I had already slept through. I'm uncomfortable. So it's just little things. It's little things. I've found me some words that I'm using well. Oh my gosh. I am super uncomfortable.
Think about this. I'm sitting here listening to you, and I'm thinking about how much noise we have in life today, right? Mm-hmm. How much stuff is in the way of just some literal natural rhythm of our bodies and the way that we move through time, really just time.
Mm-hmm.
And what if we could eliminate all of those noises so that we just moved through time in sync and in conjunction with the natural rhythm of time? Because undoubtedly there had to have been some point during our evolutionary growth as a species where we like suddenly things got louder and louder and louder, mm-hmm. and we got more and more distant from the natural rhythm of time as opposed to just being in sync with it. Because I mean, I think it's like super literal in the sense that we used to sleep on the ground and we would wake with the sun, that we would be up with the sun, or even before the sun came up, and we would lay down and go back to sleep when the sun went down, and all of these just natural rhythms of the planet that we were so in sync with and in conjunction with that we didn't, because caveman didn't sit and think about, God, my heart, I'm really, losing connection with my...
Are you being mean?
Not at all. Not at all. I'm just thinking about what took place to us as a species.
Don't fuck with my seedlings, okay? They're just barely sprouting. I'm going to take them and go.
I'm not being mean. I just think it's so fascinating that we have so much shit in the way of the way our bodies and our life have naturally moved through time. And yet somehow now we're so stuck in this pattern or this routine of being stuck with all of this noise in the way of being able to just fall into rhythm with what our bodies, are supposed to do.
Yeah, that kind of goes with that. I have confusion on that as well, because you have on one hand, like our bodies have evolved, and there's a lot of poisons out there now that weren't a factor. And like you saying, they weren't thinking about their heart. Maybe it's because they were always connected to it. I don't know. There wasn't all the shit in the way.
Yeah, but would they even know about the heart?
I think they knew what they were feeling.
I don't know.
Maybe they didn't say my heart, and today I'm feeling gratitude. Maybe they didn't have that, but we have that today.
But how much of it would have just been like super basic, where so as you kill an animal and you cut open the animal, you look at the animal and see the heart and you see the liver and you see the kidneys, and you don't necessarily have the words to describe what it is, but you understand the way that it works just by like looking at it.
Well, maybe, now granted, my information is skewed. I'm realizing the more I learn what very, not plagiarized, that's not the word. Like my information is basically propaganda. It's been steered out. Like so much of what I have, you have to actively search for new information. Like holy shit, blackfish, for instance.
Yes.
Like I really believed SeaWorld was a rescue thing. Like, oh my God,
Yeah.
but that goes also to school and history and books and what they taught you. So information, you have to be an active participant in your education and cannot rely on what is being fed to you, which not only did I grow up in that, I grew up in a very, very small, I grew up on a military base, basically. Yeah, I lived outside, so I had the mountains to play in, but my school system was very small, very, like, my brain is being expanded, okay? But from my understanding, when you're talking about like killing an animal and how they would go, from what I have, from my understanding, like Native Americans they had appreciation for the animal. They didn't just kill an animal and see the heart. They used the parts for themselves on the ways that they could, and they recognized the spirit of it. So they called with the spirits. That's hard.
What if that's just the information that we've been fed to?
What if it is? What if it's a lie? I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. I don't believe it is, but like, who the hell am I? I don't know. That feels right to me, but who the hell am I?
You're Stephanie.
Stephanie is not an expert on this conversation. Yeah. I believe that, I believe everything comes back to the heart. I believe it's there. And I think so many people, on one hand, they're like, you look at old ways and old energies and old things, and they don't want to, like, that's new. That's how we did it back then. It doesn't work anymore. We do these new things, but then they still want to revert back, like the caveman diet and like all these things. And it's either the past is what you go to, or the past is what I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. It's like, this is not how we do it. We're evolved. And why are we doing it this way? This is the way we should be doing it. It's like, who you talk to on what day. I think they were you probably, like, that's your gut brain, but I'm still with the heart with that. I'm sorry if I'm jumbly, but I think they were not towns. I'm not talking when the houses were built and the army. I don't know. I think they were connected. If we go all the way back, you're laughing. I know. I'm sorry. I'm all over the place.
You are jumbly.
I don't well, now I feel even more stupid.
Don't feel stupid.
I believe that they didn't look at it and see there's the heart and this is a kill. I believe that if you go way back when, sleeping on the ground, rising, falling with the sun, and the seasons and planning, if you go all the way back, I think it.
You think we were in line with the circle of life?
I do. I think it was very, very hard.
Does that just make us feel better, though?
Maybe.
To think that way? I don't know.
I don't know. No.
You know what I would really like?
What?
If this was just the Matrix and we were just like robots.
Yeah. Okay.
That would make it much easier.
Clearly, I'm the weird one on this podcast. If we were robots, why would that be better?
Because maybe, this is the Matrix and we were just created by aliens to fuel their spaceships. I don't know. So
because when you say this is are you picturing us in little like juicy pods with cords plugged in us? And
yes. Yeah, maybe we're just organic material that was created to create energy. Maybe we are just batteries, like in the Matrix. And we're not born, we're harvested. Well,
thanks, aliens, for letting us at least simulate orgasms. I appreciate that.
Well, they had to give us something to do.
I don't know. Like, so much of it is, like, I've had a lot of shifts. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either. This feels very, very rabbit hole-y. Like we're spinning out into the cosmos of different directions. That's not bad. Isn't that what it feels like, though?
Kind of.
So let's bring it home.
Where were we?
I don't know. Let's bring it home. What are some of the big revelations that you've had recently? That are grounded in reality, not in
that are grounded in reality,
not in Matrix rabbit holes.
I think one of the biggest ones I had was one of the, like, I did this little, like, like freebie program thing with Danielle Laporte. I'm going to butcher it now. Is it Danielle?
Danielle. I don't know how she pronounces her
name. Oh my
name.
God. I'm so sorry. Okay, so author of The White Hot Truth and The Desire Mapping.
Miss Laporte. Maybe it's Mrs. Who knows? That fucking lady.
So, okay. Respect. Sorry that I'm butchering your name. I thought it was Danielle Laporte, but maybe I'm wrong.
I think it's Danielle.
Danielle?
Anywho.
The DP. Oh, shit. Probably shouldn't say that. All right. Didn't hear that in time.
She's not going to like that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Respect.
That's massive respect. Oh my God.
I didn't mean that. Okay. Moving on. She had this, she does this whole huge desire mapping thing, your core desired feelings. And I was like, okay, let's work on my feelings. Let's see here. And yeah, I know what I want to feel. I want to feel safe. I want to feel confident. I want to feel worthy, all these things, right? But going through the process, and she had this part of it where you're going through, and even when I had my list of that you kept having to narrow down, and she's like, "Oh, make it smaller." I'm like, because you want to be able to remember what you want to feel. So when situations come up, you can, how do you want to feel in the situation? You can call on what is it that you really want to feel. When you make decisions, what is it that you really want to feel? Because she's going with the idea that if it's I want this promotion, instead of focusing on the promotion, what is it about the promotion? What is the feeling that you're looking for? Is it so just kind of really honing in on what you want? Because a lot of times what you think you want, and I want this person, I want this life. Isn't it all what it is? It's so really helping you hone in on your feelings, which, as we mentioned, I'm super, super Jedi at. My feelings and I are like this. So having that spoke to me. I was like, I'm going to give it a shot, and keeping making it smaller. It was oh my gosh, it was harder and harder. And then there was a part where the list was 15. And I was looking at it and realized, okay, all of these things, they say, you have to get it within yourself. You can't look for it outside. And you're like, yeah, I know, but I need the people around me to be safe. So I can't control if they're safe. So I don't believe that it's just all within me. But as the list was breaking down, then it hit. I'm like, oh my God, I really don't need anybody else to do any of these things for me. And so I was I was broken and crying, but it was so powerful, because every time you have that realization that you are in control, you are in control, even if shit is just fucked beyond belief, that you have the tools to fix it. That is so, it doesn't matter how broken things are right there. When you have the tools to fix it, and you know that it's up to you, it's up to you and you don't know what to do and you're fucked, but here you go. Here, everything you need is right here. You have this all right here. All you have to do is do it. It is so liberating, which is one of my words. It's just free. You have to pee. No. So that was just super speaking to me on going with that, and the feelings and the heart and getting out of the way. And then one of the things she did was had you look up the definitions when you have your words. Look up the definitions for the words. Look at the synonyms. And I know what they mean, but okay, I'll follow along, because, if you're going to do it, right? Why not? Jump in and see what happens. If you think you have all the answers, then you wouldn't really be looking, right? So I looked up the definitions for words like love and safe and just joy, because that's what you're supposed to do. And
what was one that really threw you?
Really threw me was safe.
Yeah, what did it say?
That's, I don't even know, all my life that's all I wanted. And
just to feel safe.
Safe. Just want to be safe. Just want to be safe. And then when I read the definition, I should probably pull it up to get it exactly, but it was free from danger and harm, and It was like, there's no threat. There's no threat. There's no possible way. Like, I'm just going to.
Yeah, look it up real quick.
I'm just going to read it so it's not.
Give us Webster's definition.
Protected from or not exposed to danger or risk, not likely to be harmed or lost. So the protected from or not exposed to danger or risk got me.
Why?
Because, like, another one of the things, like, where do you feel alive? You know, where do you experience things? Where's the chances? Like, where's the things that take your breath away? If you're safe, if you're always safe, then you don't really live. And I was like, oh my God, I really don't want to put that word down. Oh my God, how am I cutting safe from my list of the only thing I've ever wanted and have never really, like, how do I let go of something that was the most important thing for me and my kids? Like, how do I let go of the one thing that I want and say, like, what the fuck? Like, okay. So
you realized that in some way, shape, or form, safe didn't make the cut?
Safe didn't make the cut.
Because you want to experience some of that. So I just, like, realized that I just need to not be, like, have assholes fucking around me. That's it. No. Like, it was bittersweet. It was like a morning thing of, like, oh God, I do not want to be harmed. And I don't want to be like, oh, I'm going to go, like, put myself in danger. I'm not going to put myself in danger, like, in, like, crazy situations, but I don't know. Like, adventure is also not. I'm going to listen to my gut. You know, if I feel like my body is in threat, I'm going to listen, but I'm not going to. I want to experience stuff. I don't want to be sheltered. You know? I don't know. So that was hard. So safe didn't make the cut, and I'm still sitting here like, God. And then confident and worth, all of those didn't make the cut because confident is way too broad. It's like, what is it about confidence that you want? What do you want to feel? So everything, like, she breaks that shit down into. So I've got a few words that are pretty helpful that I've been using. What did make the cut?
Nosy people. Asking questions that maybe don't pertain to them. I'm just kidding.
What's one of the words that made the cut?
I'll tell them. I'll tell my words because they're wonderful, and maybe they resonate with people that want to borrow them till they go find their own. So I had joy. I'm nervous. I feel like I'm, like, opening up and showing my bits.
It's so funny how that is such a.
I'm new to.
No, but it's just funny how, like, there's a part of our brains that sit and record these podcasts and think about all the people that are listening to them rather than just sitting in this space of you and me in our bedroom talking back and forth.
Parts. I say shit that I'm not thinking about other people hearing.
Yeah.
And then there's stuff like this. I'm like, Okay.
So joy.
Joy. Liberation. Vitality. Tranquility. Support. And love. And honestly, love, because it's like 4 to 5 words is where you're supposed to be at, so that's 6. And I say love last because that one might get thrown in the safe bin. And some of the things, like with support, you're like, oh, well, that relies on outside forces, and it doesn't. Support is, I want to feel support. And I want to be, whether that's being supported, whether that's being supporting, whether it's support, like I feel like I'm supporting myself, or I feel supported by the universe, whether I feel, and it just able to give so much of that is just around support. could be walking in the ground. So much of that sturdy, so, but yeah, the big ones I really liked. Joy is also good. I was going to do blit, all these words. I had all these happy, and it was, there's so many words that I didn't want to get rid of, like adventurous. I want to feel adventurous. And then what did that? So it just broke down to these wonderful things. But I think liberation, liberation and joy are pretty awesome. And then like peaceful is in the I don't know. So vitality is an expansive word, but I felt like that was perfect. And there's no words. Look them up. Don't just think you know. Read them. Dictionary them. Go through Webster urban synonyms.
Not the Urban Dictionary.
You know what? Yeah.
Yeah?
I went with official terms. I didn't go with urban dictionary terms, which is how some of the words cut the list, even though, like, because if you look up vulnerable, it is like you are going to get your throat slit. Do not be vulnerable. And you look it up in the Urban Dictionary, it's very different. I still didn't go with it because I feel like all of that comes, and I'm practiced it right now, even though, But it's just, look to see people's interpretations, look to see the meanings that it have. Like you're going to find out what the acronyms on your kid's text really mean in the Urban Dictionary, which look that shit up because you think things are innocent, and Netflix and chill does not mean what you think it does. Just kidding. But I think you should look it up on that anyways, just because why not?
What you said that love was the last one. Mm-hmm. Was love on the verge of not making the list? Mm-hmm. So what? And
it's still me. I'm sitting with it. Because you tell me if my core desire feelings, if what I'm feeling is joy, mm-hmm. and I'm feeling liberated, I refuse. Let me take that back. I'm feeling liberation, and I'm feeling tranquil, and I'm feeling vitality, and I'm feeling support. Those are all love. If I'm joy, I'm feeling love. If I'm feeling that freedom and breaking from chains, I'm feeling there's self-love, there's confidence with that. If I'm feeling vitality, I'm feeling energized and possible and full of life, there's love. If I'm feeling support, I'm feeling that. So that's why it's not that I don't want to feel love. It's like I am feeling love. It's
a byproduct, kind of like vulnerability, where it doesn't necessarily need to be on the list because it's what gets made up by the list.
It's yeah. But in the Urban Dictionary sense, not the Webster or Wikipedia, which is a very thing. So yeah, but I like the sound of the word. I like the smell of the word. I like the feel of saying the word.
Love?
Yeah. So
what does love smell like to you?
Okay. So my smart ass just came out, and I almost said, never, I'm not going to say that. I don't know how to describe it, but when you are in it, when you smell it, you're like, it's like, I'm going to say sunshine, but then I'm like, oh, you're dark. It smells like, I don't know. When you smell it, but I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah.
So therefore, it is number 6. I'm keeping it on the list.
That's good.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing, babe. Mm-hmm. I think that last little bit of what does love smell like, I think our sense of smell is way, way more important than we give it credit for.
Oh, I know it is.
Yeah. And how often it is a guide for what direction we need to be going, or whether or not this is I don't even want to say safe now, because you're like, yeah, safety isn't the thing, but whether or not this is a safe thing, or yeah,
it's still a thing. It's just not. So yeah.
Yeah. And how often, a sense of smell is associated with something that is either safe or isn't safe, or with a good memory or a bad memory, or a good experience or a bad experience, or whatever the case may be. And it's literally just the sense of smell that we don't give as much weight to as like sight or touch or something like that, but yet has just as many profound nuances and importance to the experience that some of the other senses have.
Yeah, I think it's that and more. I think it's got its I don't know how to word it. Like, oh my gosh, I feel so silly.
Why? Don't feel silly.
It's got its energetic aspect to it as well. Because you can, I think as much as you can feel when people's energies are off and when something's amiss, you can smell them. Sometimes you
can smell
sometimes
energy.
Smell is the first thing that catches your like, you get a whiff of something that's like, oh, what's, and I'm not talking about like deodorant or have they had a very active day or, oh, that's a lot of Axe, which don't wear Axe. But, I don't know. If that resonates with you, you know what I'm saying. So I'll just leave it there. I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
have
a
words
hard one
for
to
it.
describe. Yeah. I'm not as aware of it unless I really think about it. Or if I really bring awareness to it, then it makes perfect sense to me. Because you can definitely smell energy or smell a shift in the force, right?
I don't really notice it if I'm like smelling. If I'm like, oh, I know I can do this. I'm like bloodhounding my way through it. I don't. It's catches me off guard. It's when I'm not looking that it's like, oh, pay attention. That I get it.
Yeah. Well, beautiful woman of mine. Anything else you want to share before we wrap up?
No, I'm naked.
I wish you were naked.
I think next episode we should do like a serious conversation, but do completely with impersonation from characters on Schitt's Creek. Just let that play out.
I was thinking about it last
It would
night
be
as we were
fun.
watching it. It's one of those shows where everybody on the show is good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's not a character on that show that I'm like, I don't really like them. There's obviously ones that I like more than others.
Yeah.
But every character is, like, even the dorky Bob guy.
I know.
from
I
the
love
garage.
his little like walk.
Yeah, like he's a fucking little weird guy, but yet he's a fully fleshed out character in a sense that, do you know what I mean?
I do.
Yeah.
I love it.
And then, of course, the main characters, it's just, it's hard to pick your favorite one. Like, you'll watch an episode and you're like, oh, this guy this time or this person was my favorite character in this episode, where it's not always the same.
Oh.
And they all have. Who's your favorite character?
I love them all,
Mm-hmm.
but I just love David.
Yeah, he's hard not to love.
Patrick's pretty, like, yeah, his character. So, like, I love them all, but I think, I don't know. Oh my God, it's so hard. I think it's David, but I was going to say my favorite clips are when David and Alexis bicker back and forth. But then I think of, like, Moira's classic verbiage that she throws out there, and that gets me. And
Baby.
I don't. And then oh my gosh, I want to call him Eugene, Mr. Rose. I forgot his first name. What's his first name?
Johnny.
Like his eyes, the way he oh my gosh, I like these. I don't know. I like them all. And of course, I think Stevie's. I like them all. David's my favorite.
Yeah.
I think so.
It's
Pretty
a great
sure.
show.
It's hard to pick. They are like, that is close, but David's my favorite.
I think it's like the first 4 seasons are on Netflix.
I think so.
Yeah. And we are almost finished with the 5th and final season.
Yeah. Is it final?
I think so. If I'm not mistaken.
No.
I could be wrong, but
Why?
I think it is final.
That doesn't work.
I'll have to look.
I'm pretty sure that the important people at Schitt's Creek would listen to this podcast because we love it so much. That doesn't work. So they need to fix that.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
I
Why
don't
would they
know.
do that?
Let me look real quick.
That's dumb. I'm in a bad mood now. My cycle just went to, now I've got little monsters in me.
I was thinking
Seriously?
about your cycle in the sense of your period and the menstruation cycle.
Oh, yeah. Tell me. What were you thinking, babe?
Like what's the equivalent for men? And not in the sense of, no. Because I think that the woman's cycle that takes place every month is a microcosm of bigger cycles that the universe or that our planet or that everything goes through. That's just a small microcosm of it. And I think that men have some equivalent in some way, shape, or form that we're just not as in tune with or aware of.
Yeah, you don't have to stick anything in your body or outside to catch the blood.
Yeah.
So therefore you don't think you have it. But I think you guys are like in a constant state. I mean, you're right now talking about being like little monster smash all. I don't know. Do men really have a thing? No, not at all. And I may be a little hypersensitive at the moment because we're in the throes. I also read something new that I'm curious to learn more of and see if it's true. See if it's just one of those dumb things that are on the internet or whether or not it's factual. So I have to research it.
Okay, real quick. We do get another season. So we do have a 6th season.
Is that it?
Yeah, 6 will be the final.
No,
Anyways.
it won't, because they're going to do it and they're going to realize that no, they should not stop and they're going to keep going.
So what were you going to say?
Well, it seems pointless now.
We get a 6th season. That's a good thing.
That women may release DMT at the beginning of their cycle.
Yeah.
So I want to dive into that. That's some faces you're pulling right there. I told you I don't know if it's true. I read it, but if it's true, it's cool and I want to see.
Well, our bodies naturally produce DMT.
Yes, they're like, it's not like the one time that we can produce this synthetic thing that is, no, we have like a of it.
Well, we have it in our bodies all the time.
I feel like you're not understanding what I'm saying.
You are special with your pineal gland of DMT releasing during
It's
the
like an adrenaline
first
dump,
few days
right?
of your period. Yes.
So I don't know if that's true.
Well, let's research in next week on.
Yeah, I really hope it is, especially with how loving you were with that. I want to be like, ha. DMT. That's why I'm so insightful on my period.
Yes, and funny.
And
DMT is also the funny molecule.
I'm always funny.
I love you.
I love you too. Well, thanks, aliens, for letting us at least simulate orgasms. I appreciate that.
Well, they had to give us something to do.
It's winter. I'm sad. It's spring. Rebirth. Summer. I'm joy. Fall. I'm comfort. I'm
Are
nervous.
you calling me a shapeshifter?
I'm calling you a mood shifter. The heart is the one that is constantly communicating more than the brain.